Welcome back to the Best Dominion Cards 2016. Yesterday I woke up with a cold and didn't record because, I wanted to wait until the cold may be gone. But today is even worse. But I don't want to let you wait any longer. So here it is, the next part 12, the next 11 cards of the cards costing 4. Rank 62, Talisman. After rising at least a little bit in the last few years, this year Talisman stays the same but even loses over 3 percentage points in its average. Yeah, Talisman is a pretty weak gainer. It doesn't do its job very well in comparison to like an Ironworks, because even though it's non-terminal and even gives a coin, the problem is that you're really limited with your buys. So you might hit 5 and then you're in trouble, you don't know. You're probably getting a 5 cost anyway, even with Talisman in play, uh, very often, and then it is basically just a copper. So you really don't want to hit a lot of coins, or I mean, it's better in games where the 5 costs aren't that great, that you even want to buy 4 costs even if you have 5 or more. And later, if you maybe even have 2 buys and 8, then you can get a lot of stuff. Um, it also can't even gain victory cards, which is also another disadvantage. So yeah, it's really limited because you have to buy the card and get double, instead of also like a workshop variant where you can gain a smithy and buy a village, or vice versa. Because you mostly want to alternate the buys, and with Talisman you have to gain 2 of the same kind. This also limits you kind of a lot. Rank 61, Taxman. Taxman lost 3 ranks last year, now it's 2 ranks back up, with basically the same average value. Yeah, just like mine, Taxman is not that great, because usually when you build an engine you want to get rid of your treasures, and here you're just upgrading them into better ones. The attack can be quite good in some cases, but usually you sacrifice your ability to buy something good on your turn as well, so it hurts you as well in the turn you play that attack. So it makes the attack weaker again. So if you get a lot of draw and have more than enough coins to buy what you want anyway, then sacrificing a silver doesn't hurt you and can quite hurt your opponent. So this is quite good in boards where you want to build an engine anyway with a lot of draw, and can play your Taxman quite often, so that upgrading your treasure is worth it. Where this is better than straight big money, then it's quite good. For example, hunting party stack or something can be quite good with Taxman when there's not, but often there's something strong on the board where Taxman can be just ignored. Rank 60, Rats. Rats continues to slowly gain ranks, this year 1 rank as well, but it even lost 2 percentage points on the other side. It is 1 rank higher in the unweighted ranking. So yeah, Rats, it basically just turns a bad card into another bad card. So the only boards where it's worth it is where it's another treasure, and specifically a trash for benefit card, where you just get better benefit out of your Rats. So apprentice, upgrade, and maybe a bishop or salvager or something, where the the higher cost matters, gets you bigger payout for trashing your bad cards. Then Rats can be quite nice, but still, in a lot of cases, this means that it's very limited, because it needs Rats and a trash for benefit card, and still a board where it's worth it to not go for the trash for benefit card right away, because this takes a while until you have enough Rats where it's worth it. So yeah, the boards where the Rats is nice are quite limited, and makes it a weak card in general. Rank 59, Nomad Camp. Nomad Camp has a small lead over Reds of 0.05 percentage points. It stays on the same rank but loses 3 percentage points. It is one rank lower in the unweighted ranking. Yeah, I don't get why Nomad Camp is ranked so high, because it's basically a woodcutter that has a top deck ability, and the top deck ability is only nice in the first on the first turn, when you have 4 and want to hit 5 and one Nomad Camp in your deck anyway. Then you have a decent chance to hit, basically open 4-5 and open Nomad Camp in the 5 that you want. And maybe on the second to last turn, when there's maybe one duchy left and you hit 4, then you can top deck a Nomad Camp and hit 5 maybe next turn. But in all other cases, it's mostly even a disadvantage, the top deck ability. So it seems to me that's usually even weaker than Woodcutter. I mean, there are more bad cards relative to its cost, to their cost in the cards costing 4, so it might be ranked higher, but I still would see it way lower than 59. All the other cards listed so far in this part, for example, I strongly think they should be rated higher than Nomad Camp, because you only really get Nomad Camp if you need a plus buy, and then you really don't want to top deck it and rather woodcutter most of the cases anyway. Rank 58, Death Card. Death Cards is 2 ranks, but most importantly over 10 percentage points worse, and therefore continues its falling trend. And I also think Death Card should be ranked lower, because getting a free shot 5 cost looks quite good, but getting those 2 ruins, man, you really need to overdraw to make that worth it. And of course you need the actions to play it, of course, and it's only terminal payload. So as I said several times, I mean terminal payload in money. Money payloads cards are never that really strong, and you're even cursing or ruining your deck with it. So you really have to be careful that you really getting a death card when you can be sure to overdraw, or when you in a turn where you overdraw to get next turn, be sure that you collide death card with your ruin. I think its best use, which is quite funny, is to get it in Vineyards games, especially with a gainer, because it gives you free actions with 1 gain. And this is of course very good, but you don't use it for the plus 5 coins then later. Maybe you use it for 5 coins later, but this was not the main reason why you get it. So this is kind of funny, because you're not using the card which is used for in, or what its main intention initially was. So I think that card, I can't remember many boards where I got one, and often I have thought to myself, well, was it really worth it, that trouble to get 2 extra 5 coins? It can be quite nice if you're having trouble hitting 8, for example, and you one death card can basically guarantee to get you to 8. Then you don't care about the junk. You just want to hit 8 once, maybe. Then it can also be quite a nice addition. But these are very rare scenarios. Rank 57, Feodum. This is the first year in which Feodum won ranks, only if it's just 1. But it still lost a bit in its average. It's even 1 rank higher in the unweighted ranking. And this is the third card where I think Feodum, where I think the card should be ranked lower. On Feodum, I'm not as sure as on the other ones, because it's hard to evaluate. Because when there are enablers like Trader, Masterpiece, and Delve, Feodum is amazing, and you have to go for it just most of the time. But in all, besides of these 3 enablers, there are not really a lot of cards that are strong with it, because you need to wait to gain silvers and or especially and be able to trash Feodum. So the cards that come to my mind are Hermit, Jack of all trades, and maybe Upgrade. And I when there's Upgrade on the board, you're probably building an engine anyway. Jack, you're going for provinces anyway, and just grab Feodum, I think, when maybe earlier and over Duchy. But in all other cases, Hermit maybe. These other cards, Bureaucrat and so on, are not really strong with it because being able to trash Feodum is missing, and it's really slow to get Feodum worth up to a lot. So I think Feodum is just skippable in mostly any case besides the free enablers, and this makes it hard to rate because free enablers are quite some, so it's not only one enabler like Counting House Travel Fair was, because this house has only one enabler, so it's a terrible card. But it has three enablers, makes it quite better, but I think it's still quite a terrible card and should be ranked lower. Rank 56, Messenger. Messenger won one rank, but lost in its average. It's one rank lower in the unweighted ranking. And this is the fourth card, and this is also the last card where I say that, which I think should be ranked way lower. So this is basically a Chancellor Woodcutter. It's sure better than Nomad Camp, so this was, I think, ranked right. But the gifting card, the gifting effect, so deal out copies of the card you are gifting yourself, makes it matter rarely. So you can either use it as an attack, especially against big money, dealing out curses, while you can trash the curse just later. But that's still only a one shot, and you're doing it only if you need the messenger, unless then otherwise you're chunking yourself even twice. And vice versa, if you're going big money and the other one going engine, dealing out silvers might be a good addition, but still you're giving yourself a messenger. I'm not sure if you really want messengers in big money, so this doesn't seem great either. It can lead to crazy pileouts, quick pileouts in multiplayer games, but that fact doesn't make it strong. So of course the Chancellor effect combined with the Woodcutter effect makes it a general more appealing card than Woodcutter and Chancellor all by themselves, because you get two weak benefits, the plus buy and the discard, in one card. It makes it a slightly better effect, but still this doesn't make it strong. Scavenger, which obviously didn't show up yet, is a way stronger card because being able to pick the card you draw next turn or later in the turn is just way better than this card effect and the plus buy. Yeah, so Messenger I think should be ranked way lower. So these four cards in a row should, in my opinion, at least be lower than all the cards in this part, like Talisman and Rats. These cards should be ranked higher above them for sure. Rank 55, Island. After a gap of nearly 6 percentage points, we're leaving the bottom tier cards and entering the next tier. Island continues to lose ranks. It lost 2 ranks just like last year. It's 2 ranks higher in the unweighted ranking. Yeah, this is, like I just said, the first clearly better card than all cards before. It's still really edge case where you want it. Opening with a hovel in hand on Island can be quite nice because it basically thins you 2 cards with one buy, one immediately and one later, and gives you 2 points. This is quite a good effect, but still you only want to do that if you're not getting another terminal, probably, to be sure to play the Island. Yeah, and so also in boards where you want to build an engine but there's no trashing available, getting at least 3 islands to get rid of your states can be quite helpful to get your engine stable enough, and 2 points are just a nice little bonus that you can get. But it's just not that strong as it used to be. What the chart for the last couple of years shows, it's get used very rarely nowadays, but still has some use. Rank 54, Trader. For the first time ever, Trader won one rank, but it still has a lower average. Yeah, I can basically say similar things about Trader just as Island. If it's the only treasure, you can still trash some estates and trash coppers. Um, Getting 6 silvers is not what you always want, but it's maybe still better than some estates. Or maybe you're just getting it to trash some coppers, like expensive stonemason. So if it's the only trashing, you can still use it. It's best used maybe as a defense, like against Mountebank, getting 2 silvers instead. Curse copper is a really nice deal. Also against cultist. If you have a way to save, for example, a trader for next turn, every time you're really well defended, because you're getting normally like 3 or 4 runes in a turn, and getting 4 silvers is clearly better. Of course, then you have all the silvers in deck, but yeah, in a cold game, big money is not the worst option ever. So yeah, also its best use, besides of that, might be to use, if you are thin enough, to use extra buys to buy a copper or curse and get a silver instead. Especially if you can like upgrade it or butcher it or something later, for the cards that you really want. So like Wharf, Trader, Big Money can also be really nice, because you have the extra buys and you can use the extra silvers to flood your deck, and you don't use it, of course, for the action, for the play part, just for the reaction. So yeah, there are some uses, but still it's mostly a weak trashing option, as silver is not what you want, and getting rid of coppers is terrible. It's terrible in that, and as I just said, Trader to Feodum is of course a strong combo that you have to always look out for. Rank 53, Miser. Miser lost 4 ranks and also 4 percentage points. It's 1 rank higher in the unweighted ranking. Yeah, Miser is not a bad card in general, it's just really slow. So if you expect your game to take a long time to end, and especially if there are no copper trashing available, Miser is a really good option, because like in colony games, for example, getting rid of the copper slowly is nice. Especially it's especially good if there are cheap cards on the board. It's like costing 3, or like menageries or something that you can pick up even on the turns you play Miser, because most of the time you play Miser, you're not buying anything, and then you're really falling behind against a player who can build and get strong 5-cost cards. But if there are cheap, strong cards that are worth picking up, Miser can be quite nice. And but still very edge casey, and often there are just better alternatives. Rank 52, Armory. Armory stays where it was after going up year after year. It still lost 2 percentage points and would be even 3 ranks lower in the unweighted ranking, so it's not as appreciated by newer players. So yeah, in comparison to Workshop, Armory top decks, which is quite a strong effect, but the problem is, if you want to Workshop, you want to open with it, and normally you just clearly want a 4-cost card with it. With Armory you can't get a 4-cost card with it. This makes it still a little bit weaker as an opener. And it's still terminal, so Ironworks, which obviously didn't show up yet, is still a better gainer, because it doesn't take an action most of the time, the cards that you want. But Armory is still nice. You can, for example, early on, instead of opening double treasure, for example, opening treasure Armory and can top deck another treasure next turn, and you're still losing very little tempo for the benefit in gaining tempo, in gaining a lot of cards more than your opponent if he didn't open Armory. So if you want a workshop, of course you're getting Armory, and workshop variant is still pretty strong. Obviously way better than Talisman, and obviously also still worse than Ironworks. So these were the 11 cards. Leave some comments where you think you agree or disagree with me. Like Talisman, Taxman, Reds better, clearly being the Nomad Camp, Death Card, Feodum, and Messenger. And yeah, what do you think will be in the next part? What do you think about this part? See you soon for next time. I'm hoping to continue soon, but if I get sick even worse, I might pause a little until the next part. We'll see. See you soon. Bye.